Hello, everybody. Welcome to TFD Talks Footy. I'm Rahul. You can follow me at the RR_GoHawks. I'm joining today from Pebble Beach, which is super cool right now. And joining me, as usual, the soccer doc from Canada, Dr. Graywall. How are you doing?
I'm doing great outside of my own pulled hamstring from my own Sunday league match. So I got my own grade one hamstring strain going on
I
right now.
thought I thought doctors don't get injured.
Yeah, but you know what? When you start getting older and thinking you can play like you're still young, you get injured, unfortunately.
Oh, come on, you're not even 30. Okay,
I
Mills,
know,
how
I know.
Mills, how are you doing? Thanks for joining again.
It's good to see you guys, man. Great to be here. Great to be here. Like, wow, what a semifinals. That's all I can say.
Oh, I like again. I think it was kind of predictable. Argentina and France kind of like put their best foot forward. I think both are in cruise mode right now.
Late blues,
So
baby.
yeah, I think so. Let's kind of like touch upon the first game, Argentina Croatia. I felt it was kind of like Croatia had no chance. I know Luka Modric after the game said like they should have not got the penalty or whatever, but
Mm.
I don't think that made any difference. Dr. Grewal, any thoughts on the Argentina game
Well,
semifinal?
yeah, I thought it was kind of fairly straightforward until the penalty. So I can sort of empathize with the Croatians who think that swung the match as soon as they took a 1-0 lead. But they were second best all night. And we talked on our podcast that we thought, after playing 120 minutes twice, that they'd be gassed. And I just don't think they had the juice to start to climb back in this one.
Mhm.
The second goal came at the worst possible time for them. I think it really just kind of sunk them. And then Messi with a little bit of masterclass there before the third one. And, good run, right? This is a golden
Mhm.
generation for Croatia, not a big country.
Yep.
And some of their key guys are on the other side of 30. So I think no shame in their performance. Even Brozovic had to sub out a little early, but I really don't think it would have made a difference,
Yeah.
even if they were at full strength.
I think this is probably the last World Cup for Perisic and Modric. So I think both of them are great players. So Mills, let's touch upon your France. They kind of pretty much handled Morocco. I don't think there was that much of a contest, except for the bicycle kick by the Morocco. I forgot his name. Mills, any thoughts on that game?
I really enjoyed the match, and I'm glad that France won. But we didn't look the best. France did not look the best because they were missing two starters due to illness, Dayo Upamecano and Adrian Rabiot. So the midfield looked really disorganized without Rabiot, and because Youssef Fofana, who started for him, didn't play that well with Griezmann, and they couldn't link up. But without Griezmann, France does not win that
Mm-hmm.
match because they overloaded the left side as we thought. They doubled Mbappe, and
Mm-hmm.
even they put some pressure on Dembele on the right too. So really, it was like just Giroud, and I'm so glad that Teo Hernandez, he got that early goal quick to set the tone, and then Kolo Muani come off the bench to close it out with the second one. But once again, Morocco was defensively sound, but it was a good match, but a bit of concerns after it.
Yeah, I think I think Morocco like didn't have the same depth as France. I think that was kind of like obvious at that game. I think maybe next World Cup Morocco would be great. Let's see about that. Before we get into our finals analysis, any thoughts on Croatia Morocco? What's your score prediction, Dr. Gavel?
I think it's just be a wild game. 3-2 Morocco.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's an upset call right there,
They got
Mills.
the heart. I think they're gonna have a little more heart and a little more like pride and just being like, let's just win our last match. We've got some
Okay.
fans who still come out. Whereas I think Croatia's a little more deflated after being runners up in 2018. So
Mm-hmm.
I think there's gonna be a few guys who are gonna be like, you know what, I don't want to go another 90. I got a big club season coming up now. So they might
That's a
do
good
some
point.
more squad rotation. So that's all it's based off of.
Okay. Mills?
They have Qatar and they have the entire African and Arab world behind them. So I think this is going to be a big statement win for Morocco. I'm going to go 2-0. I'm going to go 2-0 and they set the tone for the next 4 years because watch out for Morocco coming up. They have a
Mm-hmm.
really good squad.
And everyone's pretty young in their mid-20s, even Hakimi and everyone. So I think it's going to be a good game. I think Croatia is probably going to win it, but I think, Harjas, you made a valid point. Maybe Modric and Perisic are probably going to concentrate more on their club season than the third place. I don't think they give a shit about third place. Sorry about the language there, but I'm just saying.
No, I don't think so either. I don't even know who finished third in 2018. Like, I think England lost that game, right?
England lost, yeah.
Yeah,
England lost. Belgium won,
And,
right?
yep, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sweet. Let's get into the big game. Super exciting final. I think it's probably the two best teams playing the finals, like hands down. I don't think any other team are close to Argentina or France. Like Brazil had like a little bit, but I think they kind of like deflated towards the end of the group stage as well after the loss to Cameroon. So let's look into some injuries. Some pretty breaking news lately, right as we are recording the show. Mills, do you want to give like the injury, what the injuries are, and Dr. Gawal can give us the analysis?
Yeah, I said just before we began this podcast, we got some interesting news and some also a lot of like late breaking injuries. One is like El Maggio, the magician himself, Lionel Messi. He missed training with a left hamstring strain, and as you saw in the match against Croatia, he was massaging the back of his left thigh the entire time, and he was grimacing on his and had grimaces on his face pretty much. Maybe it's because he's played so much, maybe it's a muscular overload situation, but that was really something that needs to be monitored going forward, because he's kind of like, their talisman. He's the dude. He's the straw that stirs the drink. Also, the center back for Argentina, Christian Romano, he cleared concussion protocols, and he was able to train fully with the Argentine team. Now, on the France side, they have a mini outbreak of the common cold virus. Now, it could either be the rhinovirus, but probably RSV, given what's going on. And also, that's why they missed two players, Adrian Rabiot, as I mentioned, in the midfield, and also Dayo Upamecano, the center back. And also Kylian Mbappe dealing with some ankle soreness, but everybody's banged up because he's played like every minute since that game, the last group stage game that he sat out or came in as a sub. Yes, as a sub. And also Aurelien Tchouameni, he was able to come back after a calf contusion, but he a little banged up. So once again, just like something to look into. And also the goal scorer, Teo Hernandez, may be dealing with a mild right knee injury, so something to look forward to.
Okay, Dr. Gawal, let's start with the big hitters, Messi and Mbappe. Give us like what's the timeline? How do they approach this one?
Yeah, we can start with Messi since that's the biggest name of the two. This is probably the first time in a long time where he's played this many matches and this many minutes in each match, because unfortunately, when they lost their first game to Saudi Arabia, he had to sort of play the rest of the tournament after that, right? They didn't get that third group stage game off. And then the thing, though, that I think points in Messi's favor is that they didn't sub him. They had a 3-0 lead. They could have taken him in the 70th, 75th, 80th. Like, they could have saved him anytime they wanted, save him from any sort of knock. And they didn't. Everyone saw him stretching. I remember there was a point where it looked like maybe he was even grabbing his groin area. So that concern was there before halftime. And I'm sure they had their full evaluation. And let's not forget, they were up 2-0 at halftime, right? And so I think it's fine. I think he doesn't train, even on Friday, and on Saturday he probably does some light work, and then he's himself heading into the weekend. And on Sunday, I wouldn't expect anything less. The only thing is he is at slightly higher risk of getting injured during the match itself, right? Goes into the tackle the wrong way, goes on a bigger sprint, just gets his leg up for the odd thing. That is the one concern. But otherwise, when he suits up for that game, he's pretty close to 100% fit and should expect the same player. Because we saw him stretching in the first half, and then we saw him make some brilliant plays in the second half, right?
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's one. And then from
Messi's last chance to win a World Cup. So I think he's going to go.
That's right, baby.
Yeah. And Mbappe, go ahead. Sorry.
I think Mbappe is okay. I think he got, what a great tackle by Amrabat there. Hey, on that left
wing. That was great.
Wow. Yes. I don't remember the minute, but everyone remembers that tackle. But then what came on after, because remember he was kind of grabbing his ankle a bit and he was off, and I was like, oh man, maybe that ankle is bothering him. But he looked like he was fine for the rest of the game. Obviously, ended up
Yeah.
helping set up the second goal. So I think Mbappe is fine. I think he's going to train fully. Really, I think the biggest thing is when you look at both of these teams, like Messi's got a little bit of a hamstring issue, which is lingering in the background. But then otherwise, it's the flu or whatever this bug is that France is dealing with. Because even though there's a couple guys who missed the semi, it's so easy for the stuff to spread around, right? They have their meals together, they do everything together. So I don't know how early they got those guys into isolation or if they even did isolate them. And if there's anyone else who's dealing with anything, because that's going to make the biggest difference. You've only got 3 days off, right? Let's not forget that Argentina gets an extra day of rest over France going into the
Yeah,
True.
yeah.
so you've got Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That's it. You got 3 days, and so you got a little bit less recovery. You're already a bit tired because you have an illness. That can be an issue for the French team in general, because we don't know who they're going to report as ill, right? And then the one thing I also want to slide in here, and I don't know if you were planning to bring it later, is Karim Benzema, right? So Benzema before the tournament start gets sent home because he's hurt, and then they're like, France isn't naming a replacement, which everyone thought was okay. Well, maybe it's just because they don't want to put like I don't know Anthony Martial in the squad, and then now they're saying he might be available to play. So he has had a little over 3 weeks off now, and he was doing work with Madrid. There's photos of him being with Madrid. So
he was on training pitch.
Yeah, so is he on a plane to Qatar, and is he a potential sub? Because we know Giroud's probably not putting in 90 plus. So if it goes to extra time, like, is Benzema coming off the bench in the World Cup final?
I don't know. I think that's more of a speculation, in my opinion. Also, like a quick thought on the flu, what France is dealing with. This was the same situation between USA and Netherlands, and I think that played a factor in the game because whether you like it or not, it's probably behind like the player's head, and USA was not their best against Netherlands. So I think Argentina should not worry about what France is doing with and just go with what they're going to do. Especially like Dybala is back. He kind of like came in as a sub. That was like a super good news. Di Maria is probably gonna like again, he's old, he's not gonna play full 90, but Dybala coming in was like a game changer in my opinion. Thoughts on that, Greva?
I think that basically shows that everyone is available at the manager's disposal. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
That ball is not starting. Di Maria is not starting, but they're there, depending how the match goes, depending on if there's any injuries. And so all of that all together means that they have access to everybody for the final. And so even if they want to make a sub in the 118th just for penalties, right? Like, do they want Dybala to be the number 7, 8, 9 guy to shoot?
100%. Yeah.
That's the key piece for them, right? And we've always touched on Rodrigo de Paul. Like, he looks like he's been fine too with his hamstring issue, right? Going into the quarter and the semi. So, Argentina has everyone available for them, which is a leg up on France going into the final.
Which is scary to think about. It was scary to think about a fully informed Julian Alvarez and de Paul and Messi if Messi's healthy. Ugh.
We'll see. I think Hugo Lloris is going to play the big factor in this game. I think he's like had probably the best World Cup so far. Like, I know he played last World Cup, but I think this is probably his best World Cup. Last World Cup, France was in like full like player mode. Like Pogba was there, Kante was there, so they were killing it. So Lloris, it's going to fall on him. Dr. Keval, the other updates, I know like Hernandez had some injuries on the front side and they're dealing, I know the flu, but outside of that, any other concerns? I feel like the other injuries are a little minor compared to what like we expect during this time. So
I think the only reason we're talking about them is because the team is putting it in the release, whether that's because like there's some sort of evidence of the trainers wrapping them or taping them, or they're being limited in training. But I think there's probably other guys out there who've got tight muscles in other areas and little knocks, and that we're probably not finding out about it. So I think the rest of the team from both perspectives probably have some stuff that they're playing through, but for the most part can presume it's not gonna hold them back in arguably the biggest game of their life. And the only reason I say arguably is because France was just in the final, or I'd say biggest game of their life.
There you go. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be an awesome game. Okay, now the predictions and some prop bets. So let's do the predictions, and then I have some super cool prop bets. Mills, I'm gonna start with you because you hated on Morocco and your France is in now. So what's your prediction for the final 2022 FIFA World Cup?
Oh, said, oh my God. I thought I went back and forth on this. This is going to be an awesome game. This is going down to this is going down to double overtime. We're going to penalties. It's going to be 2-2, 2-2, but France comes through and wins 4-3 on penalty kicks.
Okay, that's good to know, Dr. Grewal.
I think it's 1-0 Argentina in extra time, and Messi scores the winner himself. I think he gets his golden moment in the biggest way possible, and it's almost the reverse of the 2014 loss. Instead of Germany scoring in extra time or the opponent, Argentina scores in extra time. They win in 1-0.
Okay, I'm gonna stick with my prediction. Couple of games back, Argentina is gonna win 2-1, and this time they're gonna win me the money. Their odds to like 2-1 is like plus 850.
Wow.
So oh no, sorry, 750. So I think that's still a good bet. I like Argentina to win. I think both me and Greywall picked Argentina after the first loss to Saudi Arabia. So I think so that's what I'm saying. This podcast, three of us, so 2-1. I think that's going to be the result. So I'm going to go with that. Yes.
There we go. Okay. The Indian guys, gang up.
There you go. There you go. Okay. There was like a super cool, like same game parlay bet on FanDuel. And it said, I kind of like put this together, and it's like plus 892. So these are the these are the odds. So over on 1.5 goals. So I think there's going to be at least 2 goals in this game. That's going to happen.
Yeah. That's going to happen.
And Julian Alvarez is going to have 1 shot each half. So any attempt doesn't have to be on target. Doesn't have to be in the net. Shots, any shots. 2, 1 in the first half, 1 in the second half.
Yeah.
And then this is the tricky one. Giroud is going to score. So I don't know. I think he's going to be the guy. I don't know.
I'm good with the first 2 legs, but Giroud, he had 2 good chances last match, but that's a tricky one. Like he would still take it, but still.
Okay, if I take Giroud out, it's like plus 204. So I think that's like a decent bet too.
Yeah.
So I don't see Mbappe scoring. They're gonna double him. He's probably gonna assist the ball. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean he didn't score last game. So you could argue that he's only scored on slightly weaker opponents.
Come on, man.
I'm not here to talk slander. I am a Mbappe fan, trust me. I think Giroud's a reasonable bet. I mean, no one would have predicted last game's goal scorers for France, whereas Argentina's were predictable. So who knows? Like maybe my whole 1-0 thing is right, but it's like Otamendi who like scores off a corner or something. You know, like, that could honestly happen. Like that does. There's 22 guys on the pitch, right? So it's sometimes hard to nail the exact guy, but I think Giroud's been sort of underrated his whole career, and he's still underrated, and so that's like immense value for a striker who looked pretty in form at this tournament.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Because remember, he wasn't supposed to be the guy. It was supposed to be Benzema. Who was and Nkunku, who were supposed to be the 2 main scoring options, but then they got hurt. Then Giroud comes up, and now he's taking it over. Yeah. He's taking over that striker role.
I'm putting money into that bet. So let's see what happens. We'll share the prize money. So that is that. We have to win at least one big one. We should have won $1,200. We did not win that one. 2-1 Argentina. Freaking Netherlands ruined that for me.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping
the last 25 seconds, baby.
Yeah, last year I still can't believe that happened. Sweet. Any final thoughts, Dr. Grewal and Mills? It's been an awesome World Cup edition. Next week and the week after, we'll start our Premier League coverage and the European League coverage before Boxing Day. That's going to be the next big thing. Super excited. And if you guys are listening to the show, it's TFD Talks Footy. Subscribe to our channel. Like, we're going to analyze all injuries leading up to the full season: Champions League, La Liga, Premier League, Italian Serie A, Bundesliga, MLS, and even women's soccer. And Dr. Harjus Grewal is our main soccer doc, and our other doc, Dr. Alfred Atanda, he'll be joining us starting next week as well. So, any final thoughts, gentlemen?
It's been a blast. World Cup's been great. I just hope we get a great final. That's all we're hoping for.
Yes, let's go. Mills?
It's like We are going to have the first repeat champion in 60 years when Brazil did it last. It's like, it may not be coming home to England, but it's staying in France. Alors,
Okay.
France,
Okay, good luck with that. Have fun, guys. Good luck betting, everyone, and we'll see you guys next week.